It's basically proof of stake, but it adds in the special variable of time. So you need to know proof of history is not a consensus mechanism, but it is a way of integrating time into the blockchain data. We use something called timestamps to place a specific date and time on the blocks. And we do this so that it allows for a very fast sequencing of validators, basically so that they know their order to submit blocks without having to communicate back and forth. One big problem that other blockchains have is that they have to agree on time. We all take this for granted, but computers have to constantly be going, what time is it really? Since they can't do things like look at their phone or even the sun to determine it. On other blockchains, the nodes, which is a fancy word that means computers, on the network have to chat back and forth until they agree on a time. And they have to do this before submitting a block. And in the computer world, this chatter can take up a lot of time. Solana fixes this using proof of history to have everyone timestamp their blocks and use a cryptographic proof so that they don't have to wait on everyone to agree on the time. Basically, we can agree on the organization of the data in the blocks after the fact, meaning we don't have to wait for other validators to check and approve our work. Let's use one of the famous Whiteboard Crypto stories. Think about it like this. If you want everyone in your family to send you a letter, and you want them to do it one day after the other, you have to first send a letter to them, and then they have to send all their letters to you. The time that both of your letters are in the mail is a long period of time. What if next time you saw them, you just said, hey, send me a letter at 4 p.m. on January 3rd. That way you would know that it's coming in, and you wouldn't have to waste time or resources asking them to. Long story short, you could set it up so that your uncle sends a letter on January 3rd, your aunt on January 4th, your cousin on January 5th, and then your grandma on January 6th. We want to read these letters in order, but the issue is that they each use different mail providers, like UPS and FedEx. Sometimes they take different amounts of time, and also your uncle is on a work trip, so he's a few thousand miles away. By having them all send their letters on the days that they're supposed to, they may not arrive in the exact order, but they wrote the time that they actually sent their letters in the letter, so that you can organize them when you get them. Basically, proof of history allows nodes to just keep throwing a bunch of blocks at us. And since some people have faster internet than others, we can assume that they're telling the truth about their sending date, and then organize them after we get them, then add them to the blockchain.